Well, as we continue our coverage of Black History Month, we're telling you about a Fayetteville church with a long history in the state. St. James Baptist Church was founded in 1865 and is one of the oldest African-American churches in Arkansas. The church is named after a man named James who donated the land where the historic building still stands today. In the 1940s, the church says they became the first in Fayetteville to offer an integrated vacation Bible school ahead of the civil rights movement. Jonathan Louder serves as senior pastor at St. James. Originally from Georgia, he says he followed in his father's footsteps in ministry.
We try to remind people of the impact that cannot be erased of what African Americans have contributed to this plot of the United States of America. We educate people on what Latinos have contributed. We educate people what all races have contributed. It's not about competition. You know, our hope is what Dr. King said, that one day we'll live out the true meaning of our creed, that all of us are created equal, that we won't be judged by the color of our skin, but by the content of our character.
You can read more about the history of St. James Baptist Church on our website, 5newsonline.com.
Thanks for that, Claire. I feel like I could have listened to him speak all day. Well, as we continue to honor Black History Month, we look at Francis Clemens, the original Officer Clemens on Minister Rogers' Neighborhood, who broke racial barriers on TV. Now, Clemens played Officer Clemens for 25 years on Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. I'm sure you remember this. In 1969, a year after Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s assassination, he and Fred Rogers shared a now iconic moment for racial equality, dipping their feet together in a kiddie pool.
He taught me unconditional love. Black and white together was unheard of in television at that time.
Clemens is still sharing his voice and his story, proving that breaking barriers on television can continue to inspire and teach lessons about equality today.
And a partial government shutdown is entering its third day.
This comes as Democrats and Republicans continue to be divided over funding for the Department of Homeland Security and Immigration Enforcement. Bradley Blackburn has more.
At airports this morning, TSA lines should be running normally, but checkpoint agents are now working without the promise of a paycheck as the funding fight in Washington continues.
ICE is totally out of control, and they need to be reined in.
Democrats are refusing to fund the Department of Homeland Security, affecting agencies like the TSA, FEMA, and the U.S. Coast Guard because they first want reforms at ICE, including banning face coverings for agents, requiring officers to display ID, and wear body cameras.
Judicial warrants should be required before ICE agents can storm private property or rip everyday Americans out of their homes.
Congress themselves wrote the Immigration Nationality Act that gave power on administrative warrant.
On Face the Nation Sunday, President Trump's border czar Tom Homan said ICE is acting within federal law, but the administration has made changes as criticism of ICE piles up, pulling the surge of agents out of Minnesota. In Minneapolis over the weekend, another memorial was held for Alex Preddy and Renee Good, who were killed by law enforcement agents during the surge. The Minneapolis mayor says the immigration crackdown cost his city $203 million in January alone, and he's now asking the federal government for financial assistance. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, New York.
In other news, today's show host Savannah Guthrie released a new video message late Sunday in another appeal to whoever took her mother more than 2 weeks ago. Guthrie said it's, quote, never too late. Meanwhile, the FBI says a black glove found near the Tucson area home of Nancy contains DNA evidence that is being tested. The agency says it appears to match the gloves worn by the suspect seen in a doorbell camera video.